So today's topic is the impact of LinkedIn on recruitment metrics, and the agenda will be sevenfold. One is we will recognize the recruitment funnel and the recruitment metrics. We will visit what is the central concept of LinkedIn and social. And these are intricately linked actually. The fundamentals of social are applicable across all social platforms, whether it is Facebook or whether it is Twitter or whether it is LinkedIn. It's very important to understand the principles of social and extrapolate it to that of LinkedIn. So how does a recruiter become visible for his or her needs, and how to construct an effective LinkedIn profile for a recruiter's needs? You may read it that way. And a viable strategy for a recruiter to achieve his or her goals and the impact of LinkedIn on recruitment. And therefore, the impact of LinkedIn on recruitment metrics is a derivatory topic that we will discuss in the end. And then I'm happy to take questions. So the fundamental theme, actually, we will be visiting this over and over again, is enhance your social media presence and get found for your needs. The concept of search has actually been put to an end. Actually, you can all be found for your needs. The good news is that if you understand the grammar of social media very well, then you can actually be found for your needs. You don't have to search for a job. You don't have to search for anything for that matter, right? You will actually be found for your needs. So we will actually visit what social media presence is as we go along. So how many people are you familiar with the recruitment funnel? How many people are familiar with the recruitment funnel? Anybody wants to raise the hand? And have you seen this chart earlier? Have you heard about it? It's something that you need to become familiar with, because have you or have you not? You can say there's no harm in saying no. You've not heard, it's fine. Have you seen? No, right?
I haven't.
Anybody has seen this particular thing? Okay. So the recruitment funnel is at the heart of a recruitment process. So how does a person actually, if you see, for example, you get a requirement, you have to fill up a position, let us say, and a manager for IR has to be filled up. How will you go about the process? You will go about the process these are the 7 stages or 8 stages in which you will actually get a manager IR to join a particular position. First of all, you will identify about 50 people, right? Maybe out of the 50 people that you identify, you can identify through various sources, right? You may be able to get in touch with about 30 people. Out of 30 people, about 18 people would probably be interested. Whoever you call need not be interested in the position, right? So if a person is interested, then what the recruiter does is that he basically submits the resume for the shortlisting process. Once the person gets shortlisted, out of the 18 people that are submitted, all the 18 need not get shortlisted. Therefore, about 12 people possibly are scheduled for the interview. Maybe about, let us say, 6 people attend the interview. 3 people get selected, 2 people get offered, and 1 person joins. Does it make sense? Are you able to understand what recruitment funnel is? So far, this is okay, because these are all very important concepts that we'll have to take along as we go along. So, are you clear about this? At least I want 3 or 4 voices. So far, so good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Pavitra or Sweta or somebody like that? Ashwati? Anybody else? Is it so far clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me go to the next step. And so let me ask you a question now. What are the kind of recruitment? Are you aware of recruitment metrics? If you're aware of recruitment metrics, what are the kind of recruitment metrics that you've heard about? Anybody has heard about metrics? Metrics is basically measures, right? Now, for example, if let us say your pulse, what is the pulse rate actually of a normal pulse rate of a person? 72 per second, is that okay? So that's a metric, right? If the person is doing all right or not. If a blood pressure is 120/80, then the person is basically, he is having a reasonably good blood pressure, right? So there's a metric to understand what is the sugar level of a person. There is a metric to understand the body mass index of a person. So generally, your health is good. The measures of your vital parameters, they something that you can actually, I'm just giving you examples that you can relate to. So similarly, what happens is that when somebody is recruited, then it's very important that I know what is the source of hire, right? In a sense, the source of hire is from which source do I get the maximum number of resources. This can vary from position to position, from industry to industry. For example, if it is IT, I can get a lot of resumes from LinkedIn. If it is non-IT, maybe no, I may not be able to get from LinkedIn, right? Selection ratio is another important ratio which actually reflects the total number of applications which have actually been received vis-a-vis how many positions have been actually closed. Offer to joining ratio, normally they also refer this as offer to acceptance ratio. People talk about offer to acceptance ratio. In real life, many people accept the offer but do not join. So therefore, I have chosen to name this as offer to joining ratio. And cost of recruitment is very important. And therefore, cost per hire is also very important. So what is the time required to hire and time required to fill the position are also very important. These are all things that actually give a pulse of how a recruiter is doing, how a recruiting organization is doing. Is this clear? You have any questions, please ask me at this point of time, because then you may not be able to collate how we are going along. So is this part of it clear? On metrics, do you have any question?
No, sir.
You're clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yes, sir, we're clear.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to park the metrics for some time, and then we're going to get into LinkedIn actually. Question I have for you is, how many members are there on LinkedIn? Anybody, any wild guesses? No, I don't have a problem if you have. Sushmita, who's that? Sushmita, is it? I'm not able to. Whoever it is, please speak up. Hello? I'm not in a position to check the chat. So please, okay, just please tell me on this one. Okay, so please don't communicate on the this one chat. Gayatri Raghavan, for example, has communicated on the chat. I'm not very conversant with Google platform, Google Meet, so I'm not in a position to multitask and check out on the chat. So if you have anything, you can raise the hand and speak on Google. So Sushmita actually raised her hand. Can you tell me how many members are there on LinkedIn? You want to answer it? Yeah. Should I go ahead? Varsha Sampath. Okay, sorry. Do you want to add? Do you want to answer it, or shall I go ahead?
So we can proceed, sir.
We can proceed. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're going to see, are you leveraging LinkedIn? So the number of LinkedIn members is 740 million members as of date. Okay. It's rapidly increasing. As we talk, there are about, for every minute, there are a couple of people opening the account or some crazy statistics like that. But the most important question that we need to ask ourselves is, does an opening a LinkedIn account automatically ensure access to 740 million members? This is something that you have to ask yourself. And you have to ask yourself, for your needs, do you really want to connect with all the 740 million members? Okay, these are two important questions that you have to ask yourself, and you park these questions there. Okay, so LinkedIn is free. What you have to understand that upgrades and variants of advanced solutions are chargeable. You may have premium accounts and stuff like that, but LinkedIn is actually free, and LinkedIn account can be opened in a few minutes, and it's easy to add connections, but experiences differ. Some are able to use LinkedIn more effectively than others, right? Is this fair enough? Is it a fair enough, right? What you have to understand here is this. How many of you have heard about this concept of 6 degrees of separation? So there's anybody in this world is connected to anybody else by 6 degrees of separation. You may be connected to President Biden by 6 degrees of separation, possibly. LinkedIn allows you to connect up to 3 levels of separation. Okay, this is something that you have to understand. Therefore, these 3 degrees of separations are called. You might have seen these notations as a level 1 connection, a level 2 connection, and a level 3 connection, right? Everybody. So what you have to understand is that. So the onus is on the individual. See, what we have asked the question is that, do you want to connect with 750 or 40 million people? Actually, the answer is possibly an emphatic no. An individual LinkedIn user sets out to find suitable partners and allies, right? Some people are more visible than others. They get searched more often, and there is greater traffic to their profile. What you have to understand is that in reality, individuals end up getting found on LinkedIn. We'll see the whole process. So how do you get found on LinkedIn? Again, it's a repetitive question, but actually, it takes a lot of time for the whole thing to sink in, and therefore I'm asking it again. Can just opening an account, adding connections automatically guarantee visibility and therefore ensure getting found on LinkedIn? So here we're going to try to answer that. You're at the center of the universe, and along with the millions of others, separated by 6 degrees, and LinkedIn allows visibility up to 3 levels. And there are ongoing conversations of the planet on the social media, right? So one question that we want to ask, one of the things that you will repeatedly, possibly, converge upon is the usage. How do you detect signal from the noise, right? Just keep this again, park this particular question. How do you detect signal from the noise? So did you think search is a one-way street? Are you continuously finding people, or you are being found while you are finding? That's a very important thing that has sink in. And if you notice that somebody was more visible than others, and they got special attention to, right? And were found several times more than others. So why were some profiles more visible than others? And the answer lies in the fact, it's called the social media presence. And this is all the social media presence, whether it is Facebook or whether it is Twitter or whether it is Insta or wherever it is. There are 7 building blocks of social media. One is the identity, right? Which is a social media profile. It can be either the LinkedIn page for an individual, or a Facebook page for an individual, or a Twitter page for an individual. That is the identity of the person. So there are cases where companies, and let us say institutions and universities and colleges like yourselves, who all have a company, there is a company page, there's a university page, and so on and so forth. That is the identity of the organization. So there's a placeholder for the organization, there is a placeholder for the university. So which is what you have to keep in mind. And on one end you have the identity, the other end you have connections, right? So we'll see how, what is it relay, what is the, how does, identity and connection, how are they actually interconnected? So what is important is that you need to be very clear. Identity is what defines why you are in social media. Before you go into social media, there has to be a specific purpose of why you want to be in social media, right? Once it is clear, unless it is clearly spelled, only then will you be able to find suitable collaborators, right? Because if you want to detect the signal from the noise, if there are 740 million people and there are so many conversations going on, you need to be able to clearly define why you are there in social. Otherwise, a lot of time will be wasted. So you have to understand that you have to be clear of why you want to be on social and with whom do you want to connect. And it is important that you share. And social is about caring, adding value to your network, adding value to your, adding value to your community, right? So it is important that you have to be able to share, you have to be able to participate in groups, you have to be able to conduct conversations. And that's how you engage the audience. So engagement is a very important component. And this actually enhances your social media presence, which enhances your reputation, which in turn actually, results in a lot of relationships, and that manifests itself into connections. Interpretation, okay? So let me go ahead to the next one. So what you have to understand is that the quality and the completeness of your profile is very important. So you have to be able to have, we'll go ahead and we will actually define this much more clearer as we go along. It is very important with respect to the LinkedIn perspective, we will see how the profile has to be complete as we go along. It is also important that the quality and quantity of your network is very important, and the quality and frequency of your engagement is also important. So how do you increase traffic to your LinkedIn profile? So a most important question you want to ask yourself is, why do you want to be in LinkedIn? See, like search engine, in search engine optimization, if you actually type in some keywords, you will see that some of the results come on the top of the search results. So let me jump the gun a bit. Let's say for your needs, you're typing in a keyword on LinkedIn and you have some of the people coming on top of the search result. They are coming in because they constructed their LinkedIn profile that way. So what you have to understand is that you have to articulate, this is very important. This is the most important thing as far as LinkedIn is concerned. Why do you want to be in LinkedIn is a very important ask. You have to articulate your LinkedIn profile, reflecting your needs, the usage of the keywords packed in your profile, right? The trick is to use the keywords for which you want to get found in your LinkedIn profile with appropriate quality and quantity. So like the principles of SEO, traffic to your LinkedIn profile is always a function of keywords. So keywords, like for example, they are the things which actually represent the needs for which you want to get found. So you should always remember that you should arrive at the top of the search results for which you want to get found. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. Remember that somebody is saying that I want a human resources person, an entry-level human resources person. You're searching for a job. So what happens is that you appear on the 7th page or the 8th page. If you appear on the 7th page or the 8th page, today is an era of attention span deficit. People cannot focus for more than even 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Do you expect a recruiter who is recruiting you to go to the 7th page or 8th page to find your profile? So you have been given a phenomenal gift to be able to construct a profile which can be found at the top of the search results. So you may want to make use of it. So now here is the second question, right? I'm going to read this from left to right, okay? And so that you can also focus from left to right, top to bottom, so that we understand a very important concept, right? So the size of the network, people don't talk about the size of the network today very, very much. It is not found in the literature on LinkedIn, but it's a very important consideration. What you have to remember is that your level 1 connections plus level 2 connections plus level 3. I told you LinkedIn allows for 3 degrees of separation. Level 1 connections plus level 2 connections plus level 3 connections will be the size of your network. So the next question is, how does this affect your LinkedIn experience? So let us assume that you have 3,000 connections. Then the size of the network, for example, is 140 million, right? The total numbers are 740 million. On LinkedIn, there are 740 million people. What will this have an impact for you? That means 740 minus 140, 600 million people will not be a part of your network. This will mean that those 600 million people will not have access to your profile. You will also not have access to the 600 million people. Do you want to connect? So what is important for you to understand is this. Let us say that you want a job. Just to, we'll discuss this as we go along. Maybe you can also ask this as a question and answer. We can actually address this. So what you have to understand is that you have to be very clear with whom you want to connect. So you have to ask yourself, I have asked a question, do you want to connect with the carpenters, farmers, and the astronauts of the world? The question is just to drive home the point that if you are looking for a job in Chennai, then you should connect with the decision makers in Chennai, not with the decision makers in Bombay or America or whatever it is. Because then you're not really effectively utilizing the channel. You want to be on LinkedIn, let us say, for example, to get an entry-level job in Chennai, or for, let us say, for example, in Bangalore, then you need to connect with a target set of people in Chennai and in Bangalore, with the right kind of decision makers. So that what you have to understand is that when they actually make the keyword entries for the kind of people they need for their jobs, for their organizations, you should appear at the top of the search results. This is a very important thing that you should keep in mind. Strategize to arrive at a relevant network for your needs. Ensure that you will be found by the target audience that needs you. So this is a very important thing that you have to understand. There is no point in adding connections and so on and so forth arbitrarily. You have to be very clear. Every connection that you want to add, it has to have a meaning, because there will be a feed automatically when you connect with that person and the person is connecting or sharing an information. It comes as a part of the feed. So if your feed is too much, actually you can get bored by the whole thing. So you got to keep that in your mind. So connect. So you have to understand. You have to keep. Why am I talking about smart searches? Because the concept is about getting found, right? Smart searches connect you, your groups, your company. Research you, your experience, your groups, your company. Expect, very important, your participation, meaningful conversations. You just start sitting there in LinkedIn and just, like is okay, but if you're not adding your, any value to, you have to add, you have to react to a particular thing to be able to, reflect your thinking process. So that's so what would you do if you found the right contacts on a social platform? You would leverage professional networks, expand your personal network, target decision makers, focus on real people, gather intelligence, target decision makers, engage, motivate, leverage warm introductions, meaningful conversations, collaborative buying process. This is how LinkedIn is. This is a dated slide, but these are innumerable ways in which LinkedIn has helped research people in companies. The percentage doesn't really matter, but you can be able to research people in companies, increase branding, marketing presence and marketing place, reconnect with past business associates, uncover potential job opportunities, increase face-to-face networking effectiveness, building new relationships, and so on and so forth. So that's how LinkedIn has helped. So how do you enhance your social media presence and get found for your needs? You have to ask yourself, does my LinkedIn profile articulate why I am present in LinkedIn? Is my LinkedIn profile complete in all aspects? Does my LinkedIn profile have all ingredients that will increase my visibility and improve traffic to my LinkedIn page? These are repetitive things, but it's very serious. So that's the reason why I put it again and again. Will my LinkedIn profile enhance my prospects of being found in search results? Do I have a strategy to network? Am I aware of the size and quality of my network? Have I organized my connections properly? What is the level and nature of engagement with my connections? Is there any predictable regularity and regimen that I adopt for using LinkedIn? Do I know how to track, analyze, refine, and improve my LinkedIn experience? Can I showcase myself as a model user of LinkedIn as a weapon for strategic professional presence? How can I detect room for getting more from my investment of LinkedIn? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. And I come to this one now. How do you construct an effective LinkedIn profile? It's very important that you have to invest in a professional photograph. It has to be a head and shoulders shot. It should be warm, friendly, and inviting. And you should be able to wear your power outfit. Professional you, not personal you. And so this is the example of a good picture, the can improve picture and the bad profile picture. And elements of a professional headline. What you have to understand is that the photograph and the professional elements of the headline are very important. The elements of professional headline is also called the tagline. And the tagline appears right below your photograph. So it is a very important way in which you can brand yourself, right? So, and you have to appear, you have to actually know that your photograph and name appears in several parts of the LinkedIn platform. Let us say, for example, it's found in the inbox, it's found in search results, it's found in several places. So we quickly come to a conclusion, right? Going by how the person's attire is and how the tagline is. If it is attractive, then we will actually make sure that there is greater number of visits to our profile. So on the profile page, the professional headline appears just below the name. It also occupies a prominent position in a number of places, right? So search results display your professional headline along your name within the groups in your inbox, externally to the site as well. So you have to be very careful about it's a beautiful way to brand yourself. So you have to be very imaginative about it. So there are two key considerations. Profile has to give a very good idea about what we do and who we are. Actually, I've written in greater detail in my book on professional elements of a headline. I've actually done a lot more research and borrowed some, some ideas. And I have actually given a fairly graphic representation of how a professional element of headline has to be. And it's also important that this increases the possibility of you being found through the search function. So a job title in a company is actually a very dumb way to kind of brand yourself, because there is a placeholder in your experience where you can actually put the designation of your company. So, right? So there are descriptive keywords can actually, can be used. And then you can actually go ahead and there can be a general offering, description of general offering and direct market offering on push promote a particular product. But what you have to keep in mind is that it's a very nice way for you to be able to, attract people to your profile. So keep that in mind, that you can always be very innovative and very creative. And there are several suggestions that I probably have. So what are the essential tips for the summary? So the most important thing that you have to understand in your LinkedIn profile is, first of all, your photo has to be good. Profile photo has to be good. And then your professional element of the headline has to be good. Then the third most important thing is that summary has to be good. Summary has to be, really well written, in the sense that there are 2,000 characters which LinkedIn gives for writing a summary. And then you have to be able to write in a very engaging and stylish way that actually attracts collaborators on all fronts. So what happens is that by embedding a lot of keywords for which you want to get found in the summary and making it stylish and engaging, you get people to get interested in your profile. So it's very important that after a person has seen a photograph and he has seen a tagline, when he comes into the profile, there are 5 essentials, right? And you never leave a summary section blank. So that's very important. Many people leave it blank. So there are 2000 characters that has to be actually used properly, and then tell stories, share accomplishments, make it interesting and comprehensive, and articulate your competencies in the areas that you'd like to collaborate with your prospective collaborators. And contact information, this is slightly dated. You can actually make sure that you put your contact information in your LinkedIn profile. Many people think that they will be possibly, they will receive a lot of calls. It is not the fact. If you are a student or if you're a job seeker searching for a job, you might as well put your contact information in the contact information space, right? So that's a very, so somebody wants to call you, he can call you. Otherwise, he may not be able to call you. Let's say that you're only given your email ID and you're seeing your email after 2 days, and this person is trying to call you. In 2 days' time, you must have called about 5 other people, and maybe the position is already getting filled in. So it's not a great idea to leave your contact information blank, right? We come back to the recruitment funnel here, and we have to now question, how does LinkedIn impact my metrics, my recruitment metrics? This is a very important question that all of us have to ask. So for example, now to explain to you very simply, I gave you the metrics earlier that there are 50 people identified and there are 30 people who are contacted. 18 people are interested, 12 resume submissions, 18 resume submissions, 12 shortlists, probably 9 people turn up for the interview, 3 selections, 2 offers, and 1 joining. So what you have to understand is that if, for example, normally a recruiter, so there are different kinds of recruiters, and one is a transactional recruiter. When he gets a requirement, he is under, basically, that is something called reactive and proactive. So when somebody is reactive, what does he do? He goes to a particular job site. Let us say, any job site which is very popular, either Monster or Naukri or Indeed or whatever it is. He goes ahead and finds out suitable resumes. Let's say he identifies 50 people through a search. Out of that 30 people he contacts. For every 30 person that he contacts, you have to understand that these are the first time contacts that he is making actually. So he has to be, for reading the resume, he has to spend a certain amount of time. For contacting the person, he has to spend a certain amount of time. And then there is a wasted efforts. Out of the 30 people, only 18 are interested, right? So the 12 people, when some 50 are identified and only 30 are contacted, the time spent for 20 resumes are wasted. When 30 are contacted and 18 are interested, the time spent for the 12 resumes who were contacted were wasted. And when 18 are interested and 12 people get shortlisted, the 6 people who had actually shown interest, again, that is also a wasted effort. Similarly, the wasted effort trickles down. Let us say, for example, it is very important that you are in a company and the company is possibly very clear of the kind of resources they want. And if you know what the resources they want, and if you are able to build a pipeline, which is called possibly a talent pipeline or a talent pool, very well knowing that these are the kind of profiles that are required by your organization, and then you have already been able to not only add it's not important that you build a talent pipeline, right? What you have to understand is that having a LinkedIn profile and having a network is just like a body. If you engage them, then you are giving life to that body. That's probably the soul of the entire LinkedIn presence. You have to be able to add value, right? It's just not cosmetic, just having a great, in the sense that a great picture of yours or something like that. It doesn't really matter. But the real style comes in the way you engage with them, the value that you add to them. There are various ways in which you can add value to your community. You can basically share so much of information on the trends in technology, on the trends, on the kind of roles which are there, the trends of, if you're able to add value to them, then you already have established a relationship with your talent pool. So when you make a post of a particular job, let us say you get a requirement, and then instead of going and identifying them in a job site, you basically go ahead and post, because your audience are regularly expecting a predictable experience from you. That means you must have a content strategy, which means that posting the jobs is also a part of that content strategy. If you're going to post that job, then what is going to happen is that the time spent on identification is there are people who are going to respond to you. And because people are going to respond to you and you know them, there is a relationship already in place. Then what happens is that if they are shortlisted, then they will, there are a lot of times what happens is that people are shortlisted, but then there are no shows at the interviews. Now, the chances that the number of people that will turn up to the interview will be higher. And then the chances that when somebody is selected and offered, the chances that he will join will be higher. That means the recruitment funnel will impact your recruitment matrices on all angles: cost, quality, response times. If you are able to develop a proper LinkedIn social media presence, that means you need to have a right identity of why you are there on LinkedIn. You need to be very clever in terms of developing a quality and quantity of connections, and you need to have a great engagement strategy in terms of proactively building it. So the LinkedIn necessarily demands that you become strategic in your intent, that you basically reinvent yourself as a professional. It is very important that you be extroverted, you participate in conversations, you add value, and therefore you demand that special attention. And therefore, what happens is that recruitment is a breeze, recruitment is a joy, and recruitment, you'll have a lot of people get very dejected because they don't have people joining and people not turning up at the interviews and so on and so forth. The question you will have to ask yourself is that when you have such a powerful instrument on hand, what are you doing to actually leverage that instrument? So that brings us to the close of this section. So if you want to learn tips and tricks on social, then Failsafe Hiring addresses that in the second half of a book. The second half of the book addresses that. It has 6 chapters, which comprehensively addresses how you can leverage LinkedIn. But the book as such can be extremely useful for all aspects of recruitment. So the first part is completely about the complete recruitment life cycle, and the second part is about socials. So it has, in the sense that I've given a copy to Dr. Martin, and maybe some of you want to pick it up, you can actually pick it up from him as well. Otherwise, you can order it at Amazon. It's priced at a very nominal 395 rupees. Okay. Thanks, and I will actually take questions from you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I request participants to unmute themselves to ask the question or post in the chat box. I would read it for you.
Yeah, not in the chat box. Okay, I'll try to see, but I'm not very... Okay,
sir,
I'll also open
no
the
issue,
chat
sir.
box.
I would read it for you, sir. No problem.
No problem. Okay. So, sir, if you have a profile with a good quantity and quality, your chance of being hired by recruiters, but there are people who give requests to just increase their connection. So how do you identify the right candidate? So it's a good question, Sushmita. Now, the thing is this, you need to be able to, if I know my need, okay, for example, if let us say I'm a Java recruiter, right, and I want to get found, I would actually have a particular strategy. I will not be, there is no need for you to accept every connection. First of all, you just don't have to add your connections arbitrarily. That is very important. You have to be able to detect signal from the noise. If I get 100 connections, I actually ignore about 70 connections. I will connect only with people with whom I see a value. And for you also, depending on what is your need or what is your career need, you need to be able to add connections only with people who matter. Otherwise, it is a waste of time. So you should not. Okay. So how does the recruiter identify a right candidate? It's very simple. A recruiter, if you give me a profile, if I'm actually recruiting a Java profile, I will go ahead and see several things. Okay, including how has he presented himself on his photograph, what is the summary he has written, has he filled up his, see, the education dates have to be filled up, the experience has to be filled up, from and to dates have to be filled up. If you go to the contact information, you saw my profile, right? Anybody who sees my profile, I've written it, I'm trying to practice what I preach. I've tried to fill up the whole profile without any gaps. You understand? I've tried to fill up whatever placeholders are available. I've tried to fill up. If you go to my contact information, you'll see the websites of my company. You'll see my slide share. You will see my address. You will see my phone number. So I will go ahead and read a LinkedIn profile as I read a resume. And therefore, if it suits my particular need, then I will select him, shortlist him. The recruiter will have to read the profile to be able to come to a conclusion. Does that answer your question, Sushmita?
Yes, sir. So there is another question from
No,
Abhinash.
that's okay. Sushmita has to answer it. She's asked the question, I addressed it.
Sir, she has put the reply in chat box. I hope she's having some issues with the mic.
Okay, thank you, sir. Fine, I saw that. Okay. Now there's a person called Abhinash. I opened up the chat box. Does platform like LinkedIn and other online job portals comparatively effective than other modes? Comparatively effective than other modes of recruitment. Can you just elaborate that question in the sense that other modes of recruitment? What do you mean by that? Can you type in the chat, Abhinash? If you type it in, I will answer that. That's not a problem. We have to break down that question further, actually. Are you typing in, Abhinash? Yeah, I'm waiting for you on this one. Are you typing in, Abhinash? So as he is typing in, let me actually, first of all, distinguish two questions here. LinkedIn and other online job portals, first of all, social media and a job portal are very different things. Okay. Naukri or Indeed or Monster is not the same as a social platform like LinkedIn or Facebook. What you have to understand, I've actually addressed this in graphic detail in the book, but what you have to understand, in short, is that on a social media platform, communication is a two-way platform. Whereas on a job site, it is a one-way platform. Again, on a job site, it is very reactive, whereas you will be able to forge relationships with people on LinkedIn. So that's what you have to, very important. So first of all, a LinkedIn and a job site are not one and the same. Online job portals are not one and the same. They are distinctively different animals. So you have to understand that very clearly. So comparatively effective in other modes of recruitment, I'm not able to, unless you state that very clearly, I cannot answer it. I can answer it, but I don't want to answer something which is not asked. Are you going to key in, Avinash? Okay. So other modes like the walk-in interviews or traditional interview methods, like people apply and attend interviews and get to ask, has helped better in recruiting suitable candidate compared to these. Okay. So you have to understand let me try to explain this to you. So there's something called a recruitment life cycle, right? So you basically, the recruitment life cycle and the recruitment funnel as a derivative of the is kind of aligned to the recruitment funnel in some ways. But let me explain to you walk-in interviews, traditional interviews. So, for example, the candidates on an online job portal and the candidates or the candidates or applicants on a LinkedIn platform also have to go through a traditional. These are all sources, okay? They have to go through a traditional interview method. So, for example, if I am conducting a walk-in interview, I might do a poster or a blast on social media saying that there is a walk-in interview, right? So, an online job portal or a LinkedIn is actually a source of resumes, whereas interview cycle is a very different aspect altogether. Okay, so I need to ask online. So is this answer clear, Avinash? Whatever is the source, they have to go through an interview process, whether it is a walk-in or is a traditional interview, right? So these are two different things. Is this clear, Avinash? Okay, thank you. Does anybody please
Good evening, sir.
I've noticed that the recruitment is more in number for IT people, but it is not effective for medical professionals. How to overcome that barrier? This question is very, Janvi, thanks for the question. You need to articulate this more. Not effective for medical professionals. One is you're talking about the number of quantities in one case. On the other case, you're talking about the effectiveness in another case. These are not comparable quantities. Can you rephrase that question clearly, Janvi? Janvi, can you write that question again? I'm happy to help you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir,
evening.
actually, I wanted to ask. I've been using LinkedIn for a while now, and I've seen that the recruitment is more in number for people from IT and management areas. But
Okay.
I am from medical profession, so it is not that the search is like my search is very limited and I am not able to see that much opportunity there. So I wanted to ask for your help regarding that.
Okay. So, okay, this is basically, see, some of these things, some of this is in our control. So what is not in our control, I can tell you that. So like a non-IT again, but medical professional, that's not the case. The adoption is better. So we come to a concept of adoption of technology, right? So the thing is this, LinkedIn is today 740 million people. But when I first started taking classes on LinkedIn in 2012, the number of LinkedIn members were 175. Today, I think out of the 740 million people, 70 million people in India are using LinkedIn. That's the approximate figure. I may not be right, but I'm saying that the adoption is over the last several years has improved. Medical profession, I think the number of medical professionals coming on to LinkedIn is increasing. Non-IT may not be as much as IT. So what you need to find out is what are the kind of people that you can only connect with people who are there on the platform. Therefore, you're constrained by the number of people on the platform. I can't do much about it. But if you can actually, my only suspicion is that many medical people, many of the medical hospitals, they've all started using LinkedIn. So if you actually develop the right kind of network, the second level and third level should start showing up better. It all depends on which country, what kind of professionals you're doing. You've got to really pay attention on that, Janvi. Does it answer your question? Okay, thanks. So you've gone to this one mode. Okay, fine. I got it in the chat box. Yeah, go ahead, please. Next person.
So good evening, sir. This is Suman.
Yes, Sunil.
Yes, sir. So you said there are more recruitment metrics, right? And quality of hiring being the one of recruitment metric. So does LinkedIn actually serves an effective way for this metric? Does it provide a quality people? Because we cannot judge a person with their profile, right? That's like they can be good with the English and the words, but we cannot know their experience. It's basically how effective.
So you can't judge into a conclusion, Vimal. It is just not English. So there are n number of parameters in which you can actually see the evaluation. See, the thing is this, what you have to understand is, I think there is some kind of a misconception just because by being in LinkedIn, you will not get good people. Okay. They have to go through an evaluation process. Okay. Like for example, it will help me, let us say that I have to fill a position like manager in the HR position. Okay. Because I'm connected to about some 1,000 people in HR, when I put a poster for HR, automatically there will be some 200 applications I might get. Or somebody may call me saying that are you hiring or whatever it is, and word would have spread around and I would have got resumes. Just because I'm getting resumes from LinkedIn doesn't mean that they are good profiles. Okay, just because I've written good English also doesn't mean profiles. So reading a resume is an art. So again, it is very important right from his, right from the time of his education. What is the quality of education? What is the kind of job? How many jobs has he changed? There are so many other tips and tricks in LinkedIn, right? So you need to be able to, also there are tips and tricks in terms of evaluating the person, trying to understand the person. And, these are things which I cannot, share you on a platter in about an hour session. In a sense that we all learn through years and years of practice, right? You go to a doctor, he will basically probably, takes probably he has a systematic way of evaluating. So LinkedIn is one of the ways in which you can showcase your expertise. It doesn't automatically guarantee that you can be found for your needs. And the second thing is this, as a recruiter, I can always find out, I'm not going to just go ahead and hire the guy immediately. You understand? My hiring process becomes easier because I don't have to contact so many people, right? After shortlisting, I still have a relationship with that person. The person will turn up for the interview. And in case the person is given an offer, the person will join. Or at least he will communicate to me why he is not joining. So there's a much more, the day-to-day grind of recruiting becomes easier. It doesn't mean that, automatically I can hire the guy. You understand?
Yes, sir. But what if you said a social media presence is an important thing, right?
Correct.
Yes. So what if a well-talented person unable to show that kind of person's presence in the social media platform, and also we are cannot able to look into their profile because their presence is very low?
That is the person's, the onus is on the person to be able to kind of showcase himself. There might be so many talented people. If they are talented, then see, this is the grammar, right? This is the grammar of a particular. I'm just trying to find out a good example to showcase. Let us say, this is the animal that is, right? If you take a lion will behave in a particular way. If you take a dog will behave in a particular way. So like that, LinkedIn is an animal. This is the grammar of it. I want to make the best use of it. I have to be able to follow the rules. If I follow the rules, then I will be able to get the best out of it. If I don't follow the rules, then I won't get the best out of it. Do you understand what I say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It has a certain characteristic. I am just helping you to understand the characteristic and follow the rules. So if an outswinger is bowled, normally if you apply a bat to it, you will get caught. You understand? So there is a certain grammar to how a fast bowler bowls an outswinger, and if a batsman, people like Sunil Gavaskar are supposed to have left the ball for, possibly for 2 hours or 3 hours. Every ball is left. They don't offer a stroke, because if you offer a stroke, then there is a chance for being out. You understand? So social has these characteristics. If you follow the characteristics, then you can be found for your needs. If a person doesn't showcase, see, that's very important. You need to know that this is an animal. This is what. See, for example, you're traveling by a train. If you get down in motion along with the speed of the train, you will be able to, if you get down on the platform in the same direction as the train, you will be safely landing. But if you try to say you're very smart, even if it is at 5 kilometers you're trying to land in the opposite direction, then you will fall down on the backside. This is science. Okay. Now what you are saying is some, sentimentality. We're talking about science. You understand? If you follow
Yes,
the
sir.
rule, then you will safely land. If you don't follow the rule, you will fall on your backside. As simple as that. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Vimal. Others, please. Yeah, Pavitra, go ahead. Sir, can you please tell us about things which we should do while communicating with recruiters? Like, for example, if a recruiter does not reply 2 to 3 days, what are we supposed to do? It's a good question. Probably the position may not be there. So the thing is that we use social in very funny ways, actually. So if the recruiter, see, the thing is this. You asked me about communicating with recruiters, but let me tell you one thing. As far as social is concerned, it's basically a digression from what I have asked, but I'm taking it as an excuse to actually lay down fundamental things. First of all, never express any negativity. First of all, what you have to understand is that you're all very powerful human beings, okay? And you're the spark of the divine. Therefore, you're all filled with extraordinary possibilities. So there should not be any self-pity. Getting a job is the most easiest thing. You're all destined to get a job, destined to get a good job. Okay, that is a given, right? First of all, you have to understand that you will get a good job. Getting a very good education, you'll get a very good job. That's very, very important. What is very important in social is, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people use social to express their frustration and express their negativity. That is not a given, right? People are observing you. There are a lot of lurkers, right? Whether you know or not, a lot of people are really looking at you, and people always try to exploit other people's negativity. So in no way you will talk about negative things. And secondly, you will not make any comment on any frivolous things, right? In the sense that you don't want to comment on politics, you don't want to comment on religion, you don't want to comment on what. Very important is that you should not self-promote yourself, right? If your content strategy is only to put selfies or about making, these are things which are very regressive, okay? In the sense that you should be able to contribute on some subject, comment on some subject of interest, comment on areas of interest, where then you are being, people will like to employ you for certain knowledge that you have, the skills that you have, the attributes that you have. So you should spend your time in acquiring knowledge, in developing skills and developing attributes. Because the more you become competent, the more you are of value to the society. So you have to be able to find out, and there are extraordinary possibilities in a flat world. Let me tell you that if people are not getting jobs, they're not reinventing themselves. You have to ask yourself, many of the people do not, unfortunately, spoken English is not up to the mark, written English is definitely not up to the mark. If people are able to even get these things to certain above average levels, then they are in great demand. Let me tell you that. So the pandemic is not it's not a showstopper. Many of the organizations have been doing extremely well in the pandemic, right? So there are great opportunities. The thing is this, the moment pandemic was supposed to go on, the government of India and the whole world is expecting India to do something like 12% growth. So the thing is that there are going to be huge opportunities which are going to come up. How are you bracing yourself to make use of the opportunities? It's important that you become knowledgeable, you become skillful and you develop the attributes. And minimum is that we are all city bred. So most of you may not have a problem with communication, but it's very important to develop good written English skills, right? Good spoken skills. It's very important. And the thing is that it's so easy today with a lot of Netflix and Prime and all that, with subtitling and all that. There's a whole lot of movies, good movies which are there, which you can watch consistently, improve the way you speak, improve the quality of your English, and become, that's one of the things. There are other things with, MOOC has come. Today, we are able to conduct a platform today. On a social platform, we are able to exchange information. So what you have to understand is that when you actually, you could use these platforms to learn so many things. There are so much of material is there on YouTube, on TED Talks are there. There are n number of things which are there. All you have to do is to have focus. You have to have, you have to know that you're all extremely good, extremely capable, that you have to have an aggressive, schedule to, and aggressive, let us say, a timetable to equip yourself. Okay, so does that, so can you please tell about things which you should be communicating? I hope you understand. So for your recruiters, so like for example, the recruiter is not replying 2 to 3 days, you shouldn't be bothered about. If you're actually, whatever you heard me saying, that if you're good as you are, so if you have a great content strategy, if you're showcasing your ideas, let's say you regularly blog once in a couple of weeks or whatever it is about whatever you are, the recruiter will knock your door. You have to be found for your needs. Okay, you don't have to wait, for the recruiter to know. You don't have to apply. That's what I've been trying. You don't have to be search for a job. You'll be found for your needs. Is this clear? Varsha, Sampath, is it clear? Great. Next question.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Right.
Due to time constraints,
Sure.
can we wind? Yes, sir. We have a formal vote of thanks. So can we proceed, sir?
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I request Tulasi Priya to render the vote of thanks.
Sure.
Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. I, Tulasi Priya of First MA HRM, take this wonderful opportunity to thank our esteemed speaker, Mr. Raghunath Ramasamy, recruiter's friend, philosopher, guide, and fail-safe hiring, for sharing his valuable insights and knowledge on the topic, the impact of LinkedIn on recruitment metrics. I would like to share few key takeaways from today's session. Metrics are important to know the pulse of the recruiter. More than 740 million use LinkedIn and it is free, but visibility up to 3 degrees. Articulate the LinkedIn profile with appropriate functional keywords. Profile should be good with professional photo, tagline, and creative summary. Finally, awakening point of how to use LinkedIn as both recruiter and applicant. We or the future HRs would really work in the understanding provided by our lively speaker. Sharing is caring is an age-old proverb. Try to their thought, I would like to thank our PG Department of HRM Spiller, our HOD, Dr. N.C. Martin, for arranging this webinar, and our Professor Subhatni for her support to organize the webinar, providing us with enlightening to the pragmatic arena of HR. Finally, I extend my gratitude to participants from various professions and students. Kindly fill up the feedback form which is provided in the chat box with your name and email ID. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye. So I can log off, right?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. No
Thank you.
issues.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.